What is going on, guys? We are here on Teach for Christ, where we are teaching the living word. I wanted to give you guys some information about something troubling that is happening in our society today. I thought that it would be an interesting topic to talk about for Teach for Christ YouTube. I am John B. here, and we are on Teach for Christ channel, where we are teaching everybody about God. And unfortunately, my partner in crime, Sean B, could not make it today because he has to take care of some stuff. So, and also James B also couldn't make it. So I'm gonna give you guys a couple of articles about interesting topic which just recently caught my eye. This is from WBLS.com, and it's talking about Kirk Franklin has mentioned an interestingly mentioned that Christians had weaponized marriage in the U.S. and in the West. So we're going to be talking about this, just going into this article here. Gospel music icon Kirk Franklin is known for his powerful lyrics and deep faith, but he recently took a bold stand against what he has sees is a troubling trend in Western Christianity, the weaponization of marriage. Speaking on Cam Newton's Funky Friday podcast, Franklin didn't hold back as he challenged the way marriage is often used as a measure of worth within the Christian community. Quote, he says, Kirk Franklin, I believe that marriage has been weaponized in Western Christianity. Kirk Franklin has expressed concern that marriage is often presented as a solution to sin, with an underlying message that single people are somehow incompetent or flawed. This is what he says, quote, it's very much that you living in sin, you need to get married without realizing that marriage doesn't fix sin, he explained. Close quote. Kirk Franklin has been married to Tammy Collins since 1996 and shared his personal experiences with the pressures and expectations placed on marriage within the church. He emphasized that marriage, while a beautiful union, should not be seen as a requirement for fulfilling God's will. You can be single and be used by God. You can be single and have purpose. Kirk Franklin has expressed passionately, being married is not a prerequisite for God's hand in your life. And he is correct about that. Kirk Franklin also seeks to challenge the cultural norms in our society. The conversation took a deeper turn as Franklin addressed the societal pressures faced by single women, particularly within the black community. He highlighted the often painful experiences of single women at family gatherings where they are questioned and judged for their marital status. It's a prerequisite for identity and value that if you don't have a man or you don't have kids, that's something about you is broken, he noted. Franklin's remarks have sparked widespread discussion on social media, with many praising him for speaking out against toxic narratives that have taken root in some Christian communities. He called for a broader understanding of faith, one that doesn't reduce a person's worth to their relationship status. How we super spiritualize these messages is dysfunctional, he concluded. So that is from KirkFranklin.com, what Kirk Franklin has noted about marriage. How Christianity has weaponized marriage. He is correct to a certain extent. I believe that marriage has been utilized, and marriage is a weapon in the hands of the wrong people. And because we're going to be looking at some articles backing up some statistics and looking at what the statistics of marriage are in the U.S. I'm talking in terms of like just the heterosexual marriage, not the other side, not the homosexual marriage. Okay, so let's look at what the statistics are on marriage and divorce. This is from the CDC.com, National Health Center for Health Statistics on marriage in the United States. So we're talking about marriage and divorce. So this is for 2024. We have 2,165,905 marriages that have happened in the U.S. today from the CDC.com. The marriage rate is 6.2 per 1,000 total population. The number of divorces now that have happened in the United States is 673,989 divorces that have happened. 45 reported in 45 states and the District of Columbia. The divorce rate is at 2.4 per 1,000 population. 45 reporting states and the District of Columbia. And this is from the National Marriage and Divorce Rate Trends for 2000 to 2022. So over the past 20 years, from 2000 to 2022, you learn about the divorce rate in the United States. Okay, for the past 20 years. This is the number of divorces, marriages, about 2 million divorces, or 2 million marriages, that have happened in the United States. And we're going to look at another article. I'm going to be posting these articles in the comments section below. Now, we're looking at, this is from ifstudies.org. This is an organization that studies the rates of marriage, and what we are seeing in the U.S. is a decline in marriage rates. Okay, so let's look at this article here. This article was written in March 5th, 2024. So do read up on it. Marriage rates are plummeting. More young people are delaying or avoiding dating altogether. The Pew Research recently found that 1 in 4 40-year-old American adults have never been married. Parenthood is viewed with much greater apprehension among young people than it once was. Young women express growing reservations about starting families, and many believe marriage benefits them less than it does men. One Pew study found that less than half, 45% of young women aged 18 to 34 without children say they still want to have kids at some point in the future. Among young men, nearly 6 and 10%, 57% report that they want to be fathers. These facts induce heartburn among conservatives, but elicit little more than a shrug from many liberals. 60% of conservatives believe that the decline of marriage represents a negative development for American society, a view only shared by 17% of liberals. Roughly as many liberals believe that fewer people getting married is a good thing for American society. A 2019 Pew survey found a similar ideological divide in views about marriage. More than 3/4, 76% of conservatives believe that society is better off if couples who want to stay together long term eventually get married. Only 31% of liberals affirm this view. Most say society is just as well off if these couples decide not to marry. But it does not matter. It does matter. Marriage is positively associated with greater community involvement across a range of activities. In our survey, there is a substantial divide in community activities between married and unmarried adults. This is not an artifact of age or education differences either. Married adults between the age of 25 to 49 are often more likely to attend a community meeting, do local volunteer work, and visit a library. They talk to new people in their communities more often as well. Continuing. Even controlling for age, race, education, and gender, marriage is positively associated with frequent participation in a variety of community activities. Simply put, married people are more active participants in American civic life. And this is a quote: "None of this is new." Brad Wilcox and Hal Boyd summarized this relationship in The Atlantic in 2020. Quote, "It turns out that the relationship between nuclear families and larger communities is more symbiotic than substitutionary, more interdependent than interchangeable. Whatever the merits of extended or non-nuclear forms of family life, research has yet shown that they are entirely equipped to shoulder the unique role of a child's two parents. In our self-obsessed culture, much of the debate around marriage has focused on what the institution offers individuals. Does it make me happier, feeling more fulfilled? But the research shows that marriage is a critical component to establishing healthy, connected communities. The personal development that marriage provides is certainly important, but a national conversation about the decline of marriage requires that we understand the consequences it has for the nation. The lack of social support. The dispiriting part of all this gap between people positive impact marriage, it provides individuals and communities and the indifference expressed by many political and cultural institutions to it. For young people uncertain about whether getting married or starting a family is worth it, American culture offers little in the way of reassurance. Now we're getting into the good stuff. Social media is exceptionally adept at exploiting our anxieties and uncertainties when it comes to dating, marriage, parenthood, and social media platforms promote an overwhelmingly negative narrative. Stories of infidelity, relationship woes, and parental hardship abound. The national news environment is not better. National media editors eagerly push articles about the limitations of marriage, the benefits of divorce, and fringe lifestyles such as polyamory. A few headlines in the New York Times Modern Love section include "Unmarry me," "Don't marry your boyfriend," when a breakup is an act of self-love. It's not the culture that's just the pattern. The economic costs of raising a family are rapidly mounting. A recent study found that the average cost of a child or care increased by 32% since 2019. But the economic burdens of raising a family are not equally shared. Women pay a steep price when they choose to start a family. Research has found that upwards of 80% of the gender pay gap is attributable to women becoming parents. For college-educated women seeking to maintain a career and start a family, these realities are impossible to ignore. Okay, so for their part, federal lawmakers are not offering much leadership either, at least not in ways that count. Continuing, we have that one reason that young adults feel less pressure to ever get married. 2/3 of single adults report that they have felt no pressure from their families to get married. For the growing number of young people raised outside of religious communities, it's likely they do not often hear forceful arguments in support of marriage or parenthood. Although conservatives readily identify the problem of marriage decline, it's not clear that young conservatives are any more interested in liberals and long-term commitments, or that liberals do not believe in there are any benefits to marriage or parenthood. Rather, what emerges from online conversations, social media, and polling results that for many young adults, marriage and parenthood are inherently risky choices. A generation raised to act cautiously, to prioritize their own personal development, and to question traditional social arrangements. It's also primed to question the value of marriage and raising a family. Decisions about marriage and parenthood are deeply personal, but that does not mean parents, pastors, and political leaders should avoid offering support, guidance, and direction. But that society has no stake in whether young people decide to opt out of creating strong, stable families. These deeply personal decisions have a profound impact on American civic health. Marriage is not simply a private union, but a social institution. It is not a very romantic appeal, nor perhaps a persuasive one, but marriage matters for all of us, whether you end up tying the knot or not. Alright, guys, so interesting article from Family Studies in regards to marriage and what's happening. There's a decline in society. Apparently, Kirk Franklin has mentioned that Christians have weaponized marriage. And yes, in this country, marriage is a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing to see those who are married with a particular other. It's a beautiful thing to see two people spend the rest of their lives together and growing together and sharing for each other and caring for each other. It's a wonderful thing to see. But then there's the other side of that, where there's discord and disagreement, and people decide that things are not working out between the two of them, or somebody cheats on somebody else, or somebody dies. That's different. Widowhood is different. But if somebody cheats and one person decides, well, I'm gonna separate from you, I'm gonna get a divorce. Of course, that's happened. But in our society, it is true that there is a lot of problems with marriage in our society, because Kirk Franklin is correct that saying that there is a marriage is a weapon in the hands of those who decide, oh, I don't want to be with this person for whatever reason, and then decide, oh, let's get a divorce. And so, since that will happen, then the state gets involved, and the state is the one that says, well, we're going to divide up the property between you, and this oftentimes, more than not, one person might end up having to pay more to the other person. And I get that point, what Kirk Franklin has said. However, in regards to being a single person, now, it is perfectly fine to be single and also to, decide not to get married. That is perfectly fine. It is a personal choice, and people can make the decisions to do it or not. Obviously, you have to do it. If somebody has to do it, they have to make sure they're making the right choice to do it with the right person that they get along with, of course. And marriage is not only about, about love and all that stuff. Marriage is about love, but it's also about building a family and starting, giving what you have to move on to the next generation, because that is what it has always been about, when in regards to living your life together for life, sticking together for life, raising a family for life, and passing on your values and beliefs to the next generation. It's always been that way for thousands of years. And so that is what has happened in regards to sin, and because sin is what has caused people to act the way they act, because the Bible says that the wages of sin is death, right? And what if we continue to live a life of sin? Of course, sin is going to cause problems, and it's going to make people do things that they want to do, because in the Bible, again, it says that we are carnally born in sin, because if we are carnally born in sin because we were born in the image of Adam, and Adam and Eve sinned in the Garden of Eden, and so we were not born with the perfect bodies. We were not born with perfect bodies and born immortal. We were born in a sinful world. Okay, and the Bible does define what sin is. It gives us a very clear understanding of what sin is, and so we have this problem here going on in our world because of what consequences of what people's choices are. So I just wanted to give you guys this article here, and see what your thoughts are on this topic. Don't be afraid to share that and see what you think. Don't be afraid to give some thoughts on it. Tell me what you think in the comment section. I'm going to be posting these articles in the description box, and I'm going to come back to this and talk more about why, how if anyone wants to know how has marriage been weaponized in our society. We obviously, as if we're people of faith, we have to stand up for what we believe in as people of faith, and we have to stand up for marriage and the Bible, because God not only created the world in 7 days, God created marriage also at the same time that He created the world in 7 days. So not only do we have creation, but we also have marriage that was instituted by God right at the beginning of the world. And so when God created man, He not only created man, He created woman. And when He created man and woman, He brought them together. And so I want to talk more about this in another topic. So this is going to be a series. So we're going to be talking more about how marriage is weaponized in our world today, and it's not how marriage today is not how God intended it to be, as according to His plan. What God's plan for marriage is not what man's plan for marriage is. And so we have to pay attention to that. So be on the lookout for that, guys. I will see you in the next video. Have a great afternoon.